Hey everybody, I'm Joshua.
And I'm Caleb.
We're brothers.
Yes, we are. Josh?
Yes, sir.
This is our 100th episode! Oh, thank you guys, thank you. Appreciate it.
I can't believe you didn't kick us off the internet before this.
Have you heard what we've said lately? Gosh. You know, Josh, in elementary school, we both have students in elementary school, kids,
yes.
And they have the 100th day of school. On the 100th day of school, they tell the kids to go home and count up 100 of an item and bring it to class and share it with everyone.
That could be dangerous. I'm just going to say that right now.
So I had my kids count up the most Jewish item I could think of. Yes. 100 pennies. Look at that.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll give them that. That's pretty good. However, 100 quarters, much more Jewish.
You're welcome. That's 20. Out Jew me, didn't you?
I mean, I am the alpha Jew of this relationship.
Speaking of 100, guys, there's a theory going around. It's pretty interesting. Heard it first from Dove Shores on our series Watch, Therefore, and Be Ready several years ago. You should watch it. It's really interesting. It's called the Fig Tree Generation. Now, don't get angry and say we're trying to select the day that Yeshua is coming back. We're just going to use this as a very important object lesson. Matthew 24, Josh, the disciples come to Yeshua and ask, what is the sign of the end of the age and of your second coming? What are we going to see? He talks about wars and rumors of wars, famines and pestilence, everything we're seeing right now, but then they get to weird stuff like the sun being blacked out and the moon turning to blood and abominations of desolations. But it says, obviously, in Matthew 24:36, that we're not to know exactly when Yeshua's coming.
It doesn't. Matthew 24:36 says, but of that day and hour no one knows, not even the angels of heaven, but my Father only.
That's true.
And Yeshua goes on to explain the season. Paul says in 1 Thessalonians 5 that Yeshua is coming like a thief in the night.
But the thief in the night is meant for the children of darkness. He says, you are the children of light, so you are not meant to be caught unaware, that we are at least to know the season that Yeshua is going to return.
And this is why Yeshua gives an object lesson like he'd like to do about the fig tree.
Okay.
Now in Matthew 24:32-34, he says, now learn this parable from the fig tree. When its branch has already become tender and puts forth leaves, you know that the summer is near. So also when you see all of these things, know that it is near at the doors. Assuredly I say to you, this generation will by no means pass away till all these things first take place.
That's interesting. So many people read this, they're wondering, well, what is the fig tree? Who is the fig tree? How long is the generation? Let's look at Joel 1:7, immediately explains, hey, Israel, Judah is the fig tree. We know that, guys. And so if Israel's the fig tree, people say, well, was it the Israel of Yeshua's day? Well, that perished in 70 AD. That generation's gone, and Yeshua didn't return. So they believe it's the rebirth of the state of Israel, and that generation that saw the rebirth of Israel would be the generation that sees Yeshua return. So how long is a generation?
I'm glad you asked that, guys. And since I'm a super math historian person, I'm going to help you understand this. I'm not.
A regular Albert Einstein we have
not,
here.
only when I have a big fro. Genesis 15:13-16 says, know certainly that your descendants will be strangers in a land that is not theirs, and will serve them, and they will afflict them 400 years. And also the nation whom they serve I will judge. Afterward they shall come out with great possessions. Now as for you, you shall go to the fathers in peace. You shall be buried at a good old age. But in the fourth generation they shall return here, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet complete.
Interesting. So God was talking to Abram, telling him a timeline of what was going to happen in 400 years to his people, the children of Israel, coming into the promised land. This isn't fuzzy math, guys. He says 400 years, 4 generations. We divide that, put it together. We get 100 years equals 1 generation. So if that is correct, then from the day May 14th, 1948, you add 100 years, you get May 14th, 2048. But I like to take it a step further, Josh. Yes. I say, we believe we're going to be taking a pre-tribulation rapture, minus 7 years. You get 21 years or less before Yeshua's return. Isn't that interesting?
Now again, we're not saying this is when Yeshua is definitely going to return.
Yes.
We're saying that if you're an individual who likes to look at these things that are out there and try to speculate about what, if you know the time or the place, this is what the theory of the fig tree generation would indicate.
But it's really an object lesson. Why we're bringing all this up is because if you knew, okay, say Josh, you knew you had 21 years left on the planet. Would you spend 20 years partying, living in sin, and then the last year you follow God?
No.
Would you spend all 21 years following God? Or would you be too afraid or too timid to live for God now. And that's how some people are, Josh. They're afraid of what others may think about them. And stepping out and going full righteous mode and letting go of all the things of the world because they don't want to be ostracized. But we're telling you, all that matters is what your Heavenly Father thinks about you.
That's the key, guys. Don't get caught up in times and dates and all these legalities. We want every moment that we have here to count.
Yes.
Every moment that you're here is for a purpose. The Father didn't leave you here by accident, and you're not existing here just to bide your time.
That's right.
You are specifically crafted and placed where you're at to reach a sphere of people that nobody else has the ability to get to. That's yours. So whether that's 21 years, whether you are a sadist and think it's 28 years because you want to live through the tribulation, more power to you. Not what I want to do, but okay, I've read about the things. Then it's 28 years.
Yeah.
If it's 128 years, if it's 1,000 years, if you never see it,
Yeah.
then live your life knowing that every single day of your life,
That's right.
you honored the Father and you honored the purpose that before you were even made in your mother's womb,
Yes.
He had thought about you, every detail, and placed you here.
Because Yeshua is coming quickly. We know that sounds ethereal for some. He even said that to John the Revelator 2,000 years ago, but he is coming quickly. And you need to prepare your hearts and get ready because any time now, it could be it. So join us next time.
And remember, 100 quarters is always better than 100 pennies. Like,
Can I have your quarters, Josh?
no, you may not. At least like 250 more times-ish better. 2,500 more times. 25. What's the math on that? You take the quarter with the nickel.
You have
and they
$20,
have, and they have babies, and it makes pennies. No, but they're a different color. That would be weird. You'd have to have a